if there was a video of somebody that was like looking on their computer for your mom, trying to find your mom, that's a crazier moment.
Yeah,
I think,
way
than
crazier.
getting kicked off the plane.
This statement says so much. Yeah, you're trying to spin a yarn. You're trying to make the people who are interested in her story look crazy, which is your audience. This video is made possible by the generous support of TrueLove.com members. If you like this content and would like to show your support, visit TrueLove.com/membership to become a member, where you'll be able to access additional content, interact with other members through the TrueLove.com app. You are free to cancel anytime. And we're back with a part 2 to the Tiffany Gomas Artful Dodger series in which I break down this interview she had with PMT. I have calmed down, so hopefully this is a little bit more even-keeled than the previous episode. I'm sure you found it entertaining. But I am pumped about Vlogmas, so I am a little bit giddy. I've been working on that all morning and excited to see this coming together because it's looking really, really good. If you have not heard about Vlogmas and you'd like to know more, please go see my video on Vlogmas. Okay, let's get to the interview.
Thank God people don't think it's me though.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I'm happy if they don't think it's me.
All right, I'm trying to make sure I remain objective because what I'm seeing could partially be because I don't think she's telling the truth, just due to all the inconsistencies I have seen so far. And I will review that at the end of all of this. Here she says that at first people claimed it wasn't her, and she's trying to convince us that it is her without saying that it is her. So now she's saying that she's thankful that people don't think it's her. And yet we're sitting here watching an interview with her in it because she claims that she's the plane lady. So regardless of whether people think she's the same woman on the plane, she's making media appearances saying that she is. Okay, did that clear anything up? I don't think so.
So what you're saying is that clip that we all saw, that motherfucker's not real, is not like you thinking that someone is an alien. It was just the tail end of an argument.
I realize he's trying to clarify what she's saying, but he's also putting words in her mouth. So he wants an answer, but he's answering it at the same time.
It was an expression of speech.
Okay. So it was just like you had an argument with some guy on the plane, and then as you're leaving, you're like, that motherfucker's not real.
Yeah.
Okay. She's claiming that MFer is not real is a figure of speech, which it's not. It only is now because she's making it a meme and a hashtag. But that whole discussion is ignoring what she said surrounding that one line. She's making it all about that one line. The media was making it all about that one line.
Is it like
crazy.
an arm wrest? Like you guys are fighting over
Yeah,
the
what was
arm
the
rest?
fight over?
Overheads.
The next obvious question is, so what did you fight over? Which was answered in the actual event because she was fighting over her lost AirPods or earbuds. But she doesn't say that here. I don't know why she doesn't say it. She completely dodges it, laughs, fills the space with filler. She's completely dodging the question.
This is way less crazy, by the way. You're completely vindicated. Because everyone obviously said they watched the clip and they're like, oh, what'd she see, an alien? What'd she see this? It's like, no, she was just saying that motherfucker's not real.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what he means by vindicated, because vindicate means to avenge or revenge, to clear from censure or doubt by means of demonstration, to lay claim, assert, set free, defend, protect, to show authority, force, proclaim, to show. So I don't see how she's vindicated here. First of all, she's not showing anything. She's not proving anything. All she's saying, she didn't see anything, which is the opposite of showing anything. And she's not vindicated because there's plenty of other evidence that shows that she was distraught and she was claiming that they were in danger. And all of that is ignored just because she says she didn't see anything. But that's not the issue. I mean, there's so much more that we want to know. What upset you? Please don't say that you were upset because you were in your feels and you were telling everybody that the plane was going to go down, and you got in your feels because your AirPods or earbuds went missing. This is not vindication. That makes it so much worse.
I mean, so Daily Mail was like the first to like take it and run with it. And they're like, she saw a not real person.
This is what is known as blame shifting. She's saying that the reason that anybody thought she saw something is because the Daily Mail said so. You're the one who said so. You said that MFer is not real. And then you followed it up with some really horrendous stuff. So you can't shift the blame to the Daily Mail.
And I'm like, they are making me look batshit. I
Yeah.
mean, and given I did, like I did look absolutely crazy.
Here's another mental mind game. And she even says she did look crazy. So what is the problem here? It's like she's all over the place with blame shifting and not taking accountability for what she actually said and did. But also, this is another example of these people, all three of them, or four of them, there's another person on the couch, trying to paint it like anybody who sees a not real person, could be a ghost, anything, is batshit crazy. Because define what a not real person is. She's making assumptions, and now she's saying that anybody who claims to see a not real person or believes in a not real person is batshit crazy, which is what this entire interview is trying to create. It's trying to create the impression that anyone who sees anything that's not real is crazy.
But no, I'm just was in my feels, needed to get off that. I was highly distressed.
Again, with the vague responses, vague answers, all she says is, but no. But no to what? She did this before. She doesn't directly address what her no is referring to. No, I didn't see a not real person. I was just in my feels, highly distressed, needed to get off that. For somebody who's in communications, she does not speak clearly. So, is she actually in marketing? I don't know. I don't think so. I still think her website's fake. Also, for a 39-year-old to speak the way she does, as a business professional who allegedly has multiple properties that she's renting out, and she's a marketing professional for high-level corporations, she uses a lot of lingo, she uses a lot of colloquialisms, she uses a lot of slang and expressions that most people are either not familiar with or are kind of juvenile. So again, with the image, she's trying to appeal to the male crowd, the sports crowd, and yet she's not doing herself any favors because she's sort of degrading her image as a professional, especially in marketing and communications.
Not a good look. It was not a good situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it?
It's not a good look.
So
Now she says it was not a good look. Her marketing company slogan says, "We make you look good." If this is her business, is making people look good, she's not doing a very good job of it herself. Not just in the instance where she was in her feels and made a fool of herself on a plane. I'm talking about now. Now she has the opportunity to clear it all up. She had the opportunity to clear it all up 4 months ago, and she chose not to. She had it multiple times in the last 4 months, and now this is her opportunity to get the podium, and this is what she does with it. This is not a good look either. You're not clearing up your mess. You're not taking accountability, and you're still not looking good. So, in fact, this makes you look worse. Because if you actually did see something, then you would be vindicated. Then you would be justified in your behavior. But now you just look like a spoiled rich brat. You didn't even say, "I'm sorry, I was on something because I get anxious flying," or "I'm sorry, I thought I saw something, but I really didn't," or "I'm sorry, I freaked out. I have anxiety issues and I didn't take my medication for it that day and it got out of control." There's no legitimate excuse for her behavior. She was just in her feels. This is probably the worst possible excuse she could have come up with, and it makes her look worse. So for somebody whose job it is, who's allegedly as successful as she is to own a $2 million home and multiple properties as an investment, her slogan is, "We make you look good," which is a terrible slogan, by the way. She's not doing a good job. She's failing miserably.
Was it armrest? Guy smelled bad?
I was thinking
No, I
reclined
was
seat.
actually in the aisle seat, and I like gave up my aisle seat because I'm, as you heard me say, I'm only 5'2".
Here we go again with the dodging. I mean, you could be totally inebriated by the end of this video if you took a shot every time she dodged a question. So here, she dodges the question, "What did you fight over?" a second time. And so what does she say? She says, "No, I was in the aisle seat, so I gave up my aisle seat." What does that even mean? I gave up my aisle seat. Previously, she said she switched seats with the guy. Then she moves directly on to, "'cause I'm 5'2". What does that have to do with anything? If you're 5'2", you can sit anywhere. I'm assuming that implies that the man next to her that she switched seats with has longer legs than her, so she was kind enough to switch seats because she's short and she can sit anywhere. But she doesn't say that. Totally unclear, implying things that she doesn't actually say. Again, with the poor communication, the dodging, the changing direction, so that you don't keep track of what she's saying or any of the questions or the answers. Does she actually answer the question? No.
My little bratty ass voice. Like, so sorry for that, by the way.
She keeps mentioning her bratty ass Minnie Mouse voice. Sorry for that, by the way. Because she can take accountability for that because it's harmless. Well, it's irrelevant. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that your voice was high pitched. It's fine because you were in distress. We get it. We're not concerned. It didn't affect us. Like, whatever. What people are concerned about is your behavior and what you said. And now you're claiming you're taking accountability. You're claiming you're owning it, but this is what you're owning. You're owning irrelevant stuff. Narcissists do this. It gives the appearance of an apology without actually apologizing or taking accountability for anything real. She refers to her bratty ass voice a lot. A lot.
So gave up. I was in the middle seat, and there was just a really bad energy, and I don't want to get into like all the details of that. Just as you know, it's ongoing, and this is probably not the smartest to get into that. But
okay, so here she finally addresses the question with a half-assed answer. I gave up my seat, so I was in my feels. I had really bad anxiety because there was bad energy, and I really can't get into it, so it's probably not smart. Why can't you get into it? I'm assuming that based on the fact she said earlier, she's talking to a lawyer. There was a lawyer on the plane who said that the person that she called not real was her brother. And so it sounds to me like she's in some sort of legal dispute. Okay, so she's not allowed to talk about why she got into an altercation with her neighbor, but she is allowed to say that she didn't see anything and she was just in her feels, kind of alleging that she had no reason to believe that the plane was going to go down or that it was in danger. So does that not put her in a very bad position with the airline?
I feel like you're vindicated now because it really was everyone thought like, oh, she saw something.
He repeats once again that he feels that she's vindicated, which is steering the audience into thinking that this is what they too should think.
She saw something. She's crazy. She's on drugs.
She saw something. She's crazy. She's on drugs. So the crazy and the drugs, he lumps in together and feels that she's vindicated from all of that. And watch how she addresses it or dodges it.
I mean, I wish I did.
That's just an expression.
It would have
like,
been
that
way cooler
motherfucker's
if I
not
did.
real.
It would be way cooler if I did.
Yeah.
It would be way cooler if she actually saw something or if she was on drugs or was crazy. What? I think she means it would be way cooler if she saw something, but she totally ignored the accusations that people have laid at her doorstep about her being crazy or on drugs.
And now, like, people dressing up as you for Halloween.
That's crazy.
That's wild. Was there one in particular that you saw and you're like, that's my favorite?
Okay, so now he changes the subject. to other crazy people who dress like her for Halloween. Again, referring to people who are interested in her story at any level as crazy. You're crazy if you look into her. You're crazy if you think she saw something. You're crazy if you see things that are not real. And you're crazy if you dressed up as her for Halloween. And then he turns around right away and says, what were your favorites?
There was actually this little baby that was adorable that they dressed up, but there was the one girl that like panned to the bunny that the Dallas TV News put on, and that one was pretty legit. Baby was funny.
Babies always funny.
Yeah, but the baby's like honorable mention for sure.
Yes.
They are making fun of these people and yet simultaneously celebrating it, and she seems pretty proud of it. Like, there's people out there dressing as me. It's a bit of an ego kick, for sure. So here we are again, harping on irrelevant issues, making fun of the whole thing. It's fine when people on on the viewing end of it do it. We're not part of it. We're not involved in it. We weren't on the plane. We're not attached to it. But when the person who was at fault is not taking responsibility and all she's focusing on is the fun stuff, the I look crazy stuff, the not real thing, the I didn't see anything, I was just in my feels, and minimizing it, and then turns around and starts making fun of the people who were interested in her story, mocking them, but also simultaneously enjoying it because, people are dressing like her. I mean, if she is a narcissist, not diagnosing, but if she is, then what is more flattering than to have a lot of people dress like you? I mean, you could take it the other way. You could take it as insulting, but it's fuel for a narcissist because people are paying attention to her. People are dressing like her. And if you look at her face, she's thoroughly enjoying it. I don't know. I would kind of find it embarrassing. I wouldn't really like it, but okay, you could turn it around and say, I'm embracing it. I know I made a fool of myself. If it was just the fact that she was in her feels, if she hadn't said the other stuff, fine. Oh yeah, I was just upset. I got off the plane. I kind of made a fool of myself. That's not what happened though.
I was like, really, like, don't get me confused with the person that shit on the plane. Like, I just lost my shit.
Yeah, I
don't really know how to interpret this because first she's talking about the fact that her story isn't going away. People are still talking about it. Well, people are still talking about it, and you damn well know why people are still talking about it. Because you have not come out to say what you saw or why you got upset. So you could have stopped all of it if you'd come out sooner. Now, you claim that you didn't because you didn't see anything and that was kind of embarrassing. I'm not buying that excuse. Because what's worse? Is it worse for you to come out and say, oh my gosh, everything's been taken out of context, I did not see anything, and you're just blowing it up out of proportion? Here's what happened. I don't think that's worse. What's worse is what she's doing now. Okay, so now she's comparing her story to the story of this guy who pooped on a plane. Now, yeah, it's embarrassing that this man pooped on a plane. And she says, don't compare me to the man who pooped on a plane. I didn't poop on a plane. I lost my poop on a plane. So she's saying that the guy who pooped on the plane is worse than her? Are you kidding me? The man had a biological issue that is not something he could control. It's not something that he could stop. It was a natural human function that he unfortunately had happen to him in a confined space on a plane. That's not anywhere near compared to what you did. You had the choice to change your behavior. You had the choice multiple times to set the record straight. How dare you compare your situation to the poor man who pooped on a plane? I mean, I think it is more embarrassing for him. It is not anywhere near the same thing. I think you should not compare yourself to him. And yet here you are trying to make out that Your situation does not come close to his. His situation does not come close to yours. How dare you? That's just disgusting.
Yeah, I got a theory, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way. I think maybe you are attractive. That might have been why people like, no, seriously, like the internet is a horny place. And so they're like, oh, attractive woman going crazy.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that video.
Look, we're not dealing with particularly intellectual conversation here. So it's not really a sophisticated interview. However, for him to reduce the people who are interested in her to horny people on the internet, horny men on the internet, is offensive. But this is what he does. This is what he does. And he does it multiple times. And here he says that this is probably the reason that more people were interested in her story than the guy who pooped on a plane. No, because there's no story to the guy who pooped on a plane. There's no mystery. There's no questions. There's no, like, why? What caused you to poop on the plane? What was the issue that made you lose your poop on the plane? How do you feel about being so embarrassed about losing your poop on the plane? There's no questions. There's no cliffhanger. There's nothing to hang on to about a guy who pooped on a plane. It has nothing to do with whether or not the person's attractive. We don't even see a picture of the person. I don't understand this guy's logic. This is also a common thread in the comments that a lot of people were saying, oh, I don't care, she's hot. You know, there are a lot of comments like that, but I think they're planted. Most people have at least 2 brain cells to rub together and think beyond their sexual urges when it comes to stuff like this. So if it's just a matter of 450 million views because it's all about horny men on the internet who can't get some and they're just imagining being with this crazy woman on a plane, we got serious problems in society. We seriously do.
My voice was just so high pitched.
Yeah.
Somehow we managed to get back to talking about her high-pitched voice again. Nobody cares about your high-pitched voice. Yeah, people made comments about it sounding like Minnie Mouse, but seriously, that's not the issue and nobody cares. And that's damn well not the reason why 450 million people viewed your video.
Yeah.
Then people are like, that she doesn't sound the same. Well, thank God I don't
Yeah.
sound like that every day.
Yeah.
Like, who could deal with that?
This is how she chooses to deal with the voice issue. Thank God I don't sound like that. Who could deal with that? That screechy, whiny Minnie Mouse voice all day long. No, I don't sound like that at all. Thank God. Listen, we have the capability to change how we speak, for sure. But there's a reason why people say you don't sound the same. Sure, you don't sound the same as screechy Minnie Mouse on the plane. But there's plenty of footage of you after being on the plane, and you don't sound like that either. So it would be nice if you properly addressed the issue of not looking the same, not sounding the same, freaking out on the plane. What did you freak out over? You know, the things that we want answers to.
Yeah,
So-
you had a bad moment. It was amplified to like it was like the wrong place at the wrong time times a million.
It was really
Right.
bad.
I don't know where we are in answering the question. I don't remember what the question was. But somehow we're here again. And this guy is saying it was just a bad moment. It was just a bad moment that was captured on film for everyone to see. It's really unfortunate. It's embarrassing. But that's all it was. It was just a bad moment. Let's just minimize it so maybe we can make it go away.
It seems like.
It was
Right.
really bad.
And so now
But everyone has bad moments.
now
It
your
was really bad.
your worst moment like exists as like the internet's focus of who you are as a person.
I think, again, people with more than 2 brain cells to rub together can provide a little bit of grace to anyone whose worst moment is captured on camera and assume that they are more than this one-dimensional perception that we might have of them. It wasn't just her outburst on the plane, though. I mean, her story has been going on for 4 months, so we've kind of got a well-rounded picture of what kind of person she is. And here we are watching a, I don't know, half-hour interview of her where she has the opportunity to express herself on her terms, clearly, and clear up some of the confusion. If she is really genuinely concerned with her image and genuinely concerned with setting the record straight, now is her opportunity. The floor is hers. And this is how she chooses to deal with it. She doesn't clear anything up. In fact, she adds to the confusion. So, yeah, the internet isn't just defining her by that one plain moment. It's defining her by everything that we have seen come out of her social media, come out of her mouth since that moment. And she's not doing herself any favors.
Yeah.
So
and people like think I've like been trying to I've been trying to dodge it, honestly.
This is probably the truest thing she says in the entire interview, that she's been trying to dodge it. And she's still dodging. I think what she was leading into before she cut herself off saying she was trying to dodge it was, I think people are assuming that she was trying to make it into some circus or make it into some big show or drag it out or capitalize off of it because she's some marketing genius. This is making it look like that times 10. If she really wanted to convince people that she wasn't milking this, she wouldn't be doing the media junket. She wouldn't be talking to everybody. And she certainly wouldn't have a website that was accepting media inquiries and call herself a viral personality. The only explanation that I've been trying to dodge it could actually be connected to is that you've been trying to dodge answering the question so that you could capitalize on it. So let's give her the benefit of the doubt for a second. Let's say she really was trying to lay low and hide. Then I'm going to put myself in her shoes for a second. If I was trying to lay low and hide, the first thing I would have done was call the Daily Mail or had someone else call them and say, listen, what you're saying is inaccurate. This is what really happened. And I'm not saying anything else on the subject. I just want to clear up any confusion. I don't want any attention. Thank you very much. I would have kept my social media closed. I would have hidden off the internet. If I was going out, I would have disguised myself. I would have worn sunglasses, a hat, changed my hair color, changed my appearance, changed my style of dress. I wouldn't have talked to TMZ if they found me at the airport by coincidence. I definitely wouldn't be doing the media junket. I wouldn't have put out anything other than if I was going to put out an apology video, I certainly would have put out a different kind of apology video, and I wouldn't be parading around with, embracing the whole thing as part of my character. Yeah, it's definitely a choice. It's an option that you can embrace the fun in it and the media part of it and the memes and the silliness, for sure. You can do that if you like, but you don't have to join in on it if you're trying to lay low. If it was me, I would have understood the gravity of the situation. I would have focused more on that and less on my own image and less on what I was dealing with. She's not behaving in any way like she's trying to convince us she is, that she was trying to dodge it, that she was trying to lay low, that she was hiding. She's doing the complete opposite. Once again, an example of listen to what I say, don't pay attention to what I do.
I put out the apology video because obviously I am really sorry to everybody on the plane.
Okay, so she jumps around. I'm confused. I don't know how the apology video is connected to trying to dodge it, but here we are.
I disrupted a lot of people, and I travel a lot, and that's just really not my character. It was just a wild situation that I was in, and I did need to get off. I just wish I would have done it peacefully.
Okay, it's a little bit of a word salad in there, but she admits that she disrupted other passengers' journey. Then she jumps to saying that it's not her character. Nobody cares. She threw a hissy fit on a plane claiming that it was going to blow up, and all she cares about is her character. All she cares about is how she looks. She terrified people for nothing. But to her, it was just a wild situation she was in, and she needed to get off. Over nothing, over AirPods. She couldn't have simply swapped seats with somebody else on the plane, on the other side of the plane. Why didn't she buy a first class ticket to avoid mingling with other people if she has a tendency to get in her feels with bad energy people? Because I can understand that being a thing, but it's a thing for certain people. Most people don't react this way to sitting next to somebody who there's just bad energy or is in my feels. Like, that does not happen. She couldn't just like have a drink, take a pill, have a nap. Like, there are many ways to avoid weird people on a plane. I've been in a situation. You want to talk about weird situations on a plane? Let's talk about me for a minute. I don't know, maybe I've mentioned this before, but one time I was flying and I was talking to this woman in the waiting area, and we happened to sit next to each other. So I get all up in Tiffany's business because she's vague about certain things, and here I go making vague statements. Okay, so I happened to sit next to her on the plane. I met her in the waiting area before we went on the plane, which was great. She was great company, fun to talk to. However, she was a bit of a drinker, and she was I could smell it on her, so I didn't really like that. And the seat next to me was empty, and there was this guy coming down the aisle, and I was in my 20s at the time, and he came down the aisle, and he looked at me like he'd just won the lottery, like, oh, I get to sit next to her, oh my god. I could just read it off of his face. Anyhow, so he sat next to me. He was also drunk, and I was in the middle seat, and I was talking to her, and she could tell that I was feeling uncomfortable. And she had been talking to this other guy. We had all been talking together and happened to be sitting near each other. And so that guy was sitting in front of me, and he asked Googly Eyes if he wanted to swap seats. And the guy next to me said no. And I said, I'll swap. And so the guy who, had the Googly Eyes, he realized that either way he was going to lose. So he swapped seats. However, that's how you resolve an uncomfortable issue. I knew I had to be, and I'm 20 something, early 20s. And I knew how to resolve an issue with a drunk 40-something man who was clearly going to try to hit on me the whole flight. It was like a 5 or 6 hour flight. And I was not comfortable with it. But I just sat there and resolved the issue, and it was taken care of, and he didn't bother me the rest of the flight. So this is how you resolve an uncomfortable situation with someone who has bad energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not making some outlandish comments.
Yeah.
This is it, folks. This is as close as we get to an apology for the outlandish comments that she made. That's it. If you're expecting something more, sorry.
Well, anyone who's judging you long term is crazy. They're not real. Those motherfuckers aren't real.
This statement is it in a nutshell. Anyone who's judging her long term for this is crazy. Crazy. And you're not real. You're not real, and you're crazy. What? What? Because are you listening to the same interview I'm listening to? I'm sorry, but I went from not judging to judging a lot. I'm judging a lot. And I will probably remain judging for a little while longer. Maybe not eternity, because I'm not all that invested in the story. But right now I'm currently invested in the story. And I'm judging.
Because who doesn't have a bad moment? Who cares?
And now it's
here we go again. Minimizing it to just a bad moment. And who cares? You are crazy and not real if you care. Listen, as I said before, people have a lot of grace for people in their bad moments, like the man who pooped on a plane. That's a bad moment. That's a genuinely bad moment. That's embarrassing and unfortunate. But he didn't do it on purpose. It's not like he sat somewhere and ate a ton of laxatives before he got on the plane just so he could poop on the plane so that everybody could get off. I mean, that would be probably closer to what she did. So what we do not have grace for is her perpetual behavior over a period of 4 months. Her failure to take accountability, her failure to own what she did and what she said. She's not doing that. And people have, yes, everybody has bad moments. Of course, everybody does. But as I said before, not everyone has a bad moment to the extent that she did. So do not minimize what she did to just having a bad moment. It's insulting. And then calling people crazy for paying attention to this story is also insulting. I wonder how many of his viewers actually realize that he's calling his own viewers crazy and not real.
For the longest time, I couldn't laugh about it. Like
Right.
now it's like, dude, you were out there.
Yeah.
Let's just say for a moment she didn't see anything and she really did get upset over AirPods or whatever, and she just had bad vibes, anxiety, was in her feels, needed to get off. She's definitely overlooking something that was said, or something that, I mean, there was that one TikTok person who said that she had heard from a friend of a friend that she was on a cruise and she had an altercation with the guy sitting next to her, and he said something about blowing up the plane. So she got upset and wanted to get off the plane. Okay, that makes sense. So why doesn't she say that? Is this the thing she can't say because she's in a lawsuit? Well, like, surely she could say, listen, I didn't see anything. The guy, I referred to as not real. Yeah, he's a real person, but I just meant that as a figure of speech. But like, what happened was he said something to me that disturbed me and terrified me. And so I had to get off the plane, and I can't legally at the moment. I'm in a legal issue about that. I can't say anything about it, but that's what happened. Why can't she say that? Seriously, I mean, most people would seriously have empathy for her if she said that. But what she's doing is really making herself look bad. Okay, so here she's talking about how she couldn't laugh at it for a long time, and now she can laugh at it. She's like, dude, you're out there. Out there is kind of known to be associated with aliens. So, make of it what you will. But yeah, like if you're looking at it from the perspective of, nothing happened, then yeah, she was out there. But I can totally understand that it's hard to laugh at it. Absolutely agree. But what you're doing now is mocking it, making fun of it. You're capitalizing off of it. What you call owning it is capitalizing off of it. And you will argue that you're not capitalizing because you're not making money off of it yet. Sure, you're not doing paid interviews or what have you, but you're getting a whole lot of media attention. You're getting a whole lot of social media attention. You went viral. 450 million people saw you. You'd be stupid as a marketer not to capitalize off of it if that's your thing. If you were truly regretful, remorseful, embarrassed, and truly hiding out and didn't want the attention, none of this would be happening. So I can relate to not being able to laugh at it. Cannot relate to what you're doing under the guise of now I'm able to laugh at it. No, there's laughing at it privately and there's laughing at it publicly. You could be laying low, and if somebody saw you and said, hey, look, it's the plane lady, then you could just yeah, it's me. Yeah, oh, can I get a picture with you? Oh, sure. Okay. Or if you're trying to lay low, you just say, listen, I'm just trying to stay quiet. I really don't want a lot of attention. Just really sorry. And be polite about it. But that's owning it in a quiet way. What she's doing is parading it. There's a variety of ways to go about it. She's going about it all the wrong way.
Like, you need to chill.
Yeah.
You got to lean into it at some point.
Telling herself that she needs to chill is kind of a strange response. I mean, okay, the way she's coming across from this is she's mentally ill. That is what she is basically telling the world. She's mentally ill. Because it's highly unusual to get in your feels over some anxiety over the person sitting next to her giving her bad vibes to this extreme, especially at 39 and being a professional. She travels a lot, she's worldly, she has a lot of friends, she must have quite a bit of wisdom when it comes to social experience and social situations. The way that she handled herself and that situation is appalling, unless she's mentally ill. She has said that she suffers from anxiety, but that could just be, again, a figure of speech, because a lot of people say they suffer from anxiety or they were feeling anxious. Most people feel anxious from time to time, but there's a difference between feeling anxious and suffering from clinical anxiety. She hasn't clarified if it's one or the other. Now she says she's looked back on her experience and her advice to herself is, dude, you need to chill. I'm not casting any judgment on anyone who suffers from mental illness. Not at all. But if she does suffer from mental illness, now would be an appropriate time for her to say, I suffer from some mental illness, and didn't address the situation accordingly. So then people would have more sympathy for her. They would have more understanding for what happened in that situation. Most people have some form of mental illness or mental issues. We live in a crazy place. The point is that she hasn't addressed that, but the way that she's coming off right now is like she has mental illness. And if she does, it really doesn't help that there's a lot of talk about her being crazy plain lady, or a lot of talk about if you're buying into her story or following her story or interested in her story, you're crazy. So that all this talk about being crazy, and then she says, you're making me look batshit. Again, prime opportunity for her to say, listen, I suffer from anxiety, like clinical anxiety, and I didn't deal with it right. I didn't deal with it well. But she didn't say that. But the way that she is coming off is that she has some mental illness. Because, first of all, the average person in that sort of situation would not react that way to being in their feels, to being in a bad vibe situation. They wouldn't. She's not giving any other explanation as to what happened or why she behaved that way. Second, she's now reflecting on her experience from a level-headed perspective, saying, dude, you need to chill. Not, God, what made me react that way? That's not a normal way to handle that kind of a situation. Maybe I need to talk to somebody. Maybe I need to look deeper into this. Not just you need to chill, because that is a very severe reaction to nothing, literally nothing. So there is so much going on here that is not said that is deeply disturbing.
Yeah. Well, and now it's like, it is funny now that like
a little time.
Time's passed. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, I felt really bad for my family. Like,
yeah, it was embarrassing, and it is embarrassing for her family too. But she seems to make it all about her.
Torture.
Can you imagine, like, I go viral and I have to get on a cruise ship
giving you
for Disney? I am, like, losing my mind. The last thing I want to do is be on that. But it was probably the best thing for my mental health.
Yeah.
Another mention of mental health. So she came out with her apology video at the end, promoting her .com, saying that there was going to be something about mental health. This, again, would have been a prime opportunity for her to say, hey, I suffer from clinical anxiety, whatever it is that she's dealing with. Disclosure would have really vindicated her, so as those guys say.
Are your parents like internet literate where they knew what was going on, or were you?
Not at all. So my mom, her Facebook profile was public. Yeah, that's how
the internet sucks.
That's how the first person found me, is because my mom's Facebook profile was public. Yeah.
First person who found her through her mom's Facebook profile because it was public. So how quickly was it that somebody found her? It was roughly 2 weeks after the event that Twitter announced who she was, and then a couple of weeks after that, August 7th, when the Daily Mail doxed her. So how come she didn't know better than to tell her family? Clearly, she doesn't remember that her family would have tagged her in photos, because she said earlier, I'm not dumb. I know how social media works. I'm in marketing.
I was like, Mom, what are you doing? And I was like, okay, no, just okay. It's my fault. Like, totally my fault.
Okay, I'm not. Again, she's not making it clear as to who it was who found her. Was it a friend of a friend? What, like, who? A stranger? It's like, if it was a stranger who found her, why didn't that stranger make it known they know who she is? Because this was the hottest news story around. And if it was a stranger or an acquaintance, because, you know, her close-knit family and friends didn't say anything, what kept this person from saying something? Or was this the person on Twitter who exposed her identity? Not that she technically has to answer this, but I'm also curious as to how she knew who the first person was who found her. Did this person leave a comment on her mother's Facebook page on a picture she had? I mean, that would make sense, but how did she know?
Yeah.
So anyways, she just deactivated her account because she felt so bad. I'm like, Mom, it's not your fault. Like, I was the crazy one.
First she blames her mom, then she takes it back, says, it's not your fault, it's my fault. I was the crazy one. Another reference to being crazy. On one hand, there's no problem with saying the word crazy. However, if you are dealing with this situation in the context of constantly bringing up mental health, which she does, she brought it up in her apology video in association with her website. She brought it up when she said going on the cruise was probably the best thing for my mental health. I mean, I don't talk like that. I don't talk about, oh, it's probably great for my mental health. And she continues to mention how she looked crazy, how she was made to look batshit. You know, the constant references to crazy and mental health. This is suspicious.
But the people who are looking for your mom on Facebook are also the crazy people.
See what I mean? How he turns it against the audience. The people who are looking for your mom on Facebook are also the crazy people. Like, this is just disgusting. This is really lowbrow, base, moronic thinking. And it's not accurate. So, like, the first thing is people are not looking for her mom. They're looking for her. If they happen to find an image that links to the reverse Google search that they're doing for the image of her on the plane, and it links to her mom's Facebook profile, then they're going to find her mom. I don't think I need to spell that out for you. Like, this is just spinning the story to suit your needs, to try to make the audience, your audience, by the way, your audience who's tuning in to watch her, look crazy.
Like, we live on the internet. Our job is to be on the internet. The internet sucks. It really does.
Okay, now you just slammed your entire career. The internet sucks. It's our job to be on the internet. We live on it, but it sucks. Okay, so you've just criticized your audience and you slammed your own career and you slammed the platform on which your entire life and career exists upon. The other thing you've done here is just exposed that you ought to know how the internet works, yet you just said that thing about people looking for her mom on Facebook. I mean, you clearly don't know how the internet works. Either that or you're trying to spin a yarn. I think you're trying to spin a yarn.
Yeah.
If there was a video of somebody that was like looking on their computer for your mom, trying to find your mom, that's a crazier moment, I think,
way
than
crazier.
getting kicked off a plane.
This statement says so much. He's trying to, again, paint a picture of comparison of what comprises lunacy. Her behavior is not crazy. The behavior of the people looking for her, that's crazy. I mean, what? What? I mean, yeah, you're trying to spin a yarn. You're trying to make the people who are interested in her story look crazy, which is your audience. Your audience. You are calling your audience crazy.
My name didn't get released for so long, which people are like, I don't understand, like, why people, you know, like I said, Dallas News TV, like they put me on, or they put my clip on.
I can mumble with the best of them. I can mix my words up by accident because I have like multiple streams of thought coinciding and can't pick one to get my thoughts out clearly. That happens sometimes, but she does this all the time. What did she just say? Sounds like word salad. People were asking, how come my name didn't get out for so long? But then what? Anyway, yeah, what?
Which people are like, I don't understand, like, why people, like I said, Dallas.
People were like, I don't understand. I can't even remember. And I just listened to it 3 times in a row. People were like, I don't understand. Like Dallas TV, they put me on, they put my clip on. But like, what did she say in between? I don't know.
And so then I have all these people texting me because I've already deactivated social media. So I have all these people texting me. They're like, oh my God, this is your doppelganger. This is you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, cool.
Looks a lot like me.
Now she says something coherent. Dallas News put her clip on, and she was getting text messages from people who knew her, not close friends, people who knew her, saying, oh my God, this is your doppelganger. I looked up the news, and the date that this news story was released in Houston was July 6th, which was the day that basically it was released everywhere. If it was released in Houston on July 6th, it was released in Dallas on July 6th. So this is July 6th that she's getting text messages while she's on the cruise. Okay, so she's getting text messages from people who know her on the cruise saying this is your doppelganger. Meaning people who know her aren't saying that that's her. Even people who know her are saying it doesn't look exactly like you, but it looks close enough to you that it could be your doppelganger. And the people in this interview, Tiffany included, have spent a lot of time trying to convince the audience that you're crazy if you think that she is not the woman on the plane. Either she looks the same or she doesn't. Either it's the same woman or it isn't. Even people who know her could not definitively say that it's the same woman. Okay, fine, fair enough. She has different looks. But don't make out like it's crazy for people to say it doesn't look like the same woman when her own friends couldn't say it's her. Like, come on. Come on.
I've just been on this Disney cruise. I don't know what you're talking about.
Literally just played it off and pretend. I was like, yeah, cool. Never responded to anyone.
She dodged it, ignored it. Like, this seems to be her go-to. Dodging everything. These are her friends. They have her phone number to text her. They know her well enough to say, hey, it's you, or someone who looks a lot like you. And they text her right away saying, hey, saw you freak out on the plane. What's going on? I mean, she doesn't bother to respond to any of them. If I knew someone who freaked out to that level on a plane and I reached out to them and said, hey, I saw you freak out on a plane, saw your doppelganger. Like, what? Is that you? Like, are you okay? Because that's some crazy stuff I saw. Like, are you okay? Like, what did you see? What's going on? What caused it? What triggered it? And what made you so upset? I mean, if you care about somebody enough to reach out to say, hey, I saw you on the plane, or at least your doppelganger, and they're, close enough to you that you have their phone number. Most people don't have other people's phone numbers anymore. You contact acquaintances through social media. But these people have her phone number. These people are casual enough to text her. Hey, what's going on? Saw you on a plane, kind of freaking out. Everything all right? And she doesn't even respond. She doesn't even get back to them. Dodging. I mean, this lady has made dodging a sport.
Yeah. And
like my real friends, like my really close friends were like, oh, we could tell by your mannerisms. Like that was
yeah.
Okay, so her very close friends, on the other hand, could tell by her mannerisms that was her. So they could tell by her mannerisms, not by her appearance. Not by her appearance. I'm sorry, but if you are a very close friend and you have not seen her without makeup, dressed that way, because that's her lazy fit, she must dress that way a lot. She dresses that way so often that that's her lazy fit. She has a name for it. It's her go-to look when she's traveling. It's such a go-to look that she doesn't even think about it because she showed up at the airport for TMZ looking exactly the same way. She just had makeup on. So if you are a very close friend, you must have seen her in her lazy fit. You must know for certain that that is her just by seeing her face, just by seeing her. You don't need to tell by her mannerisms what the actual, what? So what is she trying to tell us here? On one hand, she's trying to tell us that that's her without actually saying that's me. And then she's calling you crazy if you think that that's not her. Have you ever seen a woman? Have you ever been with a woman? And now she's saying that her friends, her close friends, couldn't tell it was her except by her mannerisms. Her acquaintances couldn't tell it was her. They had to call her a doppelganger. What is she telling us? Is she telling us that she is not the plane lady? Is she telling us that there is a doppelganger? Who talks this way? Seriously, who talks this way? She dodges everything. She dances around the houses. She doesn't come clean. She doesn't clearly state, to clear the record, she is gaslighting us. This is insanity. All of these nitty-gritty details, these inconsistencies, her hypocritical attitude, the condescension, the gaslighting, the dodging, the lying, the calling people crazy, like all of it is going to paint a complete picture of what is going on here. So I hope you join me to the end of the series. Even if you're not all that interested in her, this is a masterclass in the art of dodging. This is a masterclass in psychological weaponry, mind control, mind fuckery. This is a masterclass at crazy making. This is a great source of information on how to detect a liar, how to detect someone who does not answer the question, how to detect when somebody is avoiding responsibility, and how to detect psychological mind games. Okay, so this is the end of part 2 of this current series. I don't know what part I'm on with the whole Woman on the Plane series. I do have one more part to cover of this interview. I may or may not be able to deliver part 3 tomorrow because I have Christmas stuff tonight with my family. It'll fit in here somewhere. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.